with these visions and goals and you know what you want to achieve, there's a lot of sacrifices that you need to make. There's a lot of commitment and consistency that is needed. It's not going to happen overnight.
Anything that calls for you for your discipline, especially daily, or anything that calls for consistency, it challenges you, bro. Like you have to get out of this comfort zone that you're always in.
The motherland, the African man. Long as I'm alive, I'ma make a plan. Strongholds to break, got long walks to take, got no votes to make, we don't bet, we pray. Hey, African man, yeah. The African male iris through the eye of an African male.
Everything begins with a vision.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes,
and you
naturally.
know, like you're envisioning everything that okay, I'm passing on this to my son. You know, it all begins with a vision. That's why, in the beginning, we're saying when you're setting up your year,
You
it's
need to have
imperative to you know
To have
you
that
have
board.
that
Write it
that,
down.
Write
that
it
vision
down.
board.
Do you write down your goals?
Do you write down your goals, bro? Do you have a vision board?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah.
Prayer is like one of the 1 out of 4.
But this
Literally
year,
now.
but this year is like the first time I actually did a vision board. I've never done a vision board.
So it's 4 out of 4.
Yeah,
None of us-
I've never
none of us have
I've never done a vision board.
Have you ever like gotten mates together and say, you know what, guys, let's just do
No,
a vision
bro.
board?
No.
Why? Why is that so? You see what I'm saying?
the strong no, right?
Did you see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
the no is strong, but I mean it's important, you know. Let's be
No,
honest.
but then I mean maybe because I tend to do that same thing, same concept, but just not vision board.
It's like in your head.
No. Like it can actually be a meeting where it's an accountability group, and then we're actually sitting down and saying, okay, what are you planning to do this year? It might not necessarily be a goal for this year. It might be a goal that's ongoing, and maybe because I think the other thing with goals and vision boards and things like that is that we get caught up in what we think we should be able to achieve within a year. Like this has been my biggest downfall with some of my goals, because I always used to try and figure out why there were some goals that were still on my list
Ongoing.
year after year. But then there were some I would easily just smash. Like I would always be setting a new standard and then boom, I do it within like 3 months, 4 months, boom. Then I realized
That's where the concept of short term, mid term, and long term
yes.
goals come.
And I feel like when you do annual goals, you need to be able to know that this one will show up next year. And it's not a failure that it shows up next year and it was not achieved this year. Because we almost like underestimate.
That's a good point.
We almost underestimate the fact that a year is actually 365 days. So if someone was telling a story and then they said, yeah, then he went through this, and then, you know, it was a tough time for like about 300 days, but after that, his entire life changed.
Yeah.
If someone said it like that, you'd be like, it's just 300 days, so I'm sure it's, you know, it was okay. But if you then realize that it's a whole year, like a year sounds longer than 365 days.
Right.
But I feel like that's where we then get caught up, because now you're always looking at last year this. So these are the things I ticked off. These are the things I ticked off. But then there's some stuff that will take 3 years. And it's okay for it to take 3 years. And you need to be able to then make peace with the fact that, okay, I'm going to write this down 3 times until I achieve it. Then it's easy to now put that and know that it's going to show up next year and it's not a failure, because now we can actually measure what we're going to be able to do towards it within the year, and then what we're going to be able to do within the second year. So that for me was a lesson that I kind of learned a little later on with regards to goals, because I used to always write goals down.
Refresh.
Always.
Reset.
Exactly.
Tell me something, bro. You mentioned something that was quite interesting to me about accountability partners. How do you go about, having an accountability group, as you mentioned?
Right.
And how often do you meet? What do you discuss? How do you go about being accountable for those goals that you'd have set at the beginning of the year?
So for me, it's very interesting. I actually do have some business mentors who are people who are very established in business and they've, done phenomenal things. And I either know them or I knew them already. And so I then approached them and said, I would like you to be my mentor. This is kind of like what I'm working on. So I just need every couple of months to come and say, and we sit down and then you advise me on what you think I could do and whatever. That always helped me a lot because these are people who are already established and they've already achieved the things that I'm trying to achieve, or they at least kind of have an idea of how to get there. So that was not necessarily accountability. That is more mentorship, where you find that you actually do have someone in your circle who's already reached the things you're trying to reach. So you can reach out to them and say, and most people who are successful don't mind sharing.
knowledge.
Yeah,
they don't.
it's always the ones that the ones that haven't achieved that are always like holding on
Yeah,
to.
of course, because if you share your
gatekeeping.
ideas, someone else is going to
Exactly.
go ahead.
So the accountability now is what I feel is probably a bit more important because it's a constant check on the progress. It then speaks to your character, your level of discipline, your work ethic, and those things are not so easy to instill because discipline's hard.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, 2024 was like the year that I felt like I started weightlifting properly because I was like, I always kind of do a 2-month stint. And then my arms start to pop, and then everyone's like, "You're going to the gym," and I'm like,
And then you
Then I do pictures, and then I don't watch the diet. No progressive overload, no consistency. That's it, done. And then I slip back. Then I kind of, I need to go back to the gym. I need to go back to the gym. So 2024 was like the first time I said, I don't really want to go back to the gym so that I achieve a specific look. I just want to be able to do it for at least a year.
Consistent.
Yeah, like let me just do it for a year and just be consistently doing it and then see what that looks like. Because I've been doing this on and off thing and it doesn't work. So now that, to answer the question, I feel like that was kind of where I started learning that consistency and discipline are like the hardest things in anything and in everything. And this is why I feel like a lot of people then struggle to achieve certain things because anything that calls for you, for your discipline, especially daily, or anything that calls for consistency, it challenges you, bro. Like you have to get out of this comfort zone that you're always in. And there was a quote that I read recently, and I thought that was one of the most profound ones. It says, "The new you will cost you the old
The
you."
old you. True.
Meaning that you're gonna have to change. Like you have to actually become this person so that you can achieve those things. Otherwise, you are never going to achieve them. So what I did is I then reached out to 2 of my friends and I just set up a group and I said, firstly, I hate groups. I don't like new groups. I just hate them because sometimes they just go obsolete and now it's weird for us to leave, but and then now we're like, and then you leave and someone's like, why is he angry? What happened? And whatever, So I just set up the group and I was like, guys, we all know about the principle of if you hang around 4 millionaires, you're going to be the 5th one. If you hang around 4 losers, you're going to be the 5th one. You guys are like my closest friends. Can we not at least just be accountable to the things that we're saying we're going to do? Because I always have different conversations with you. And I always know that you're working on this or you're working on that. But I always feel like there's a lot of wisdom that we miss in just peer mentoring, just with the people you already hang out with. Like you don't necessarily need to go and look for somebody who's a millionaire. You can sit down and then Slim can just start telling you, no. When you're working out, what you actually need to do is this. And you're busy looking for a trainer, you're on Instagram, but Slim has already
diet,
achieved
what?
that thing, so he can explain that thing
He's
easy.
always bugging me. How do you? And I'm like,
Yes.
I'm not an expert, but
But I already see you've progressed at you're at
Exactly.
a better stage than me. So that
but
makes
that's
a difference.
And you see what that for me is like the perfect example to say. That's what peer mentoring is about. Because amongst the people you already know, there's someone who's doing well in business. There's someone who does well with just marketing. There's someone who does well with people skills. Someone does well with ideas. Someone does well with this and someone does well with that. So within the people you already know, you'd be surprised that you actually you probably have access to all of the information you need for most of these things. So I then started that kind of accountability group with my homies and said, let's just at least touch base like maybe once a month. And then everyone sort of gives us like a rough picture of these are the things I need to be working on in the next couple of months. And this is what's going on and blah, 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 blah,
That
blah.
vulnerability, that openness.
That we're speaking about.
Yeah.
But you know, when prayer was saying now, I kind of picked up a few points, right? Before I forget. Like the first one was like, when you're setting goals, like the vision should not be limited to 12 months.
Right.
You understand? But one thing you should be accountable for is, are you progressing towards your goal?
Right.
Right.
You understand? If you are not, then you do self-introspection about it, that what is hindering me from making progress?
What do I need to change?
What do I need to change? You understand? Hence, we get to the point where you say, if you want change, you have to be the change.
Yeah.
100%.
Because you can't want change and you are not changing.
Not changing.
You get what I mean? Change begins from within before anything happens. You know, there's this, I can't really remember it, but it says if an egg is broken by an outside force, life ends.
Oh yeah.
But if it's broken
By an
by
inside.
an inside force,
Wow.
It's
That's
life
deep.
beginning.
you get it.
That's deep.
That is a good one.
That's a good one. you know,
Yeah.
So,
That's a very good one.
so from what he was saying, you know what I mean? It's we put, like we were talking earlier, we put unnecessary pressure on ourselves because journeys are different. And you know, the worst case scenario in seeing successful people, you'll see someone driving expensive cars, living in a mansion, and you know, partying yachts and everything. You see that, but the time of the struggle, you didn't see this guy struggling.
Right.
You don't see.
You understand?
It's like the iceberg effect.
Yeah.
You understand? This person took 10, 15 years to get to where he is. But mostly what we see is when he's there. We never see the struggle. That's why, unfortunately, I have to say it, but that's why you see in our black culture, one thing I hate the most, the moment someone starts enjoying the fruits of his hard labor, people start saying, this one.
The haters.
You know what I mean? How could they have made it overnight?
Yeah.
Excuse me. But for you, it's overnight. For him, it was a process of 10, 15 years.
Lifetime.
Exactly.
You understand what I mean? It was a lifetime, but because no one notices the come up.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
notices what you've been through.
And no one listens to you when you're on the come up because you don't have a voice. No one.
You know what I mean?
You're not a name. You're no one.
You know what I mean?
You're like an
Yeah. But the moment you just pull up in a Rolls
Everyone
Royce
wants
or
to
a
give us like,
Bentley,
hey.
and then you start giving wisdom, and everyone's just like, yeah.
you know.
But then
no
you,
matter how ridiculous it is.
but you were probably what saying the same stuff like
Saying
5 years
five
ago.
years
That's
ago.
true.
You know what I mean?
100%,
And also what you said,
100%.
what is important, I tend to think differently when it comes to that. They say if you're playing with 4 fools, you'll be the 5th one. Bro, this goes with mental strength. You might be the only one who's reasonable with 4 fools, but if you've got mental strength, you can change these 4 fools to reasonable people.
That's true.
You understand?
That's
what I mean?
also true, actually.
You understand?
Yeah.
If you are a fool who's outspoken, who's confident and everything, you can actually turn 4 millionaires into fools.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it depends within that circle who's outspoken, who's more confident,
influential, yeah.
who's
And also
influential. Actually, you understand what I mean?
That's why we're saying when you do find your accountability partners, they have to be like-minded individuals.
No, I'm saying that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, those sayings that if it
Oh,
just
yes.
depends.
No, I'm
With
actually
influence.
supporting what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. No, I understand. I understand. But I'm just saying, it's
Like
It's
if you
funny.
find the 5th being a prayer, yeah.
no, it's just funny, I see things in a different way that there's no formula to life, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that part is true.
There is no formula whatsoever.
That is so true.
if I'm telling my story of my come up, that's me. What I can do is to inspire someone who's going through the same struggles and everything. But it doesn't necessarily mean that if you're going through my same struggles, you're going to get to where I am.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to aim to get to where I am.
That's true.
You can aim to be higher. You get what I mean?
And
But
do it smarter.
do it smarter, yeah. Do it smarter. I've got my young boys, I always say, you know, guys, I had a rough
Come up.
come up, you understand? But with the knowledge I have and what I share with you, I want you by the time you get to my age, you'll be 10 times better than I am.
Bigger. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
mine was a rough one.
Yeah.
But you've got me to tell you about that rough time. I didn't have anyone to hold my hand and say, you know what? I had to figure things out by myself.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
I had to figure them out. But now you've got me who's telling you guys, look, the
Don't go this
opportunities
way.
Yeah.
You are letting,
that way.
You know, the opportunities.
The
you
young boys are
letting
like, why are you
slip."
telling us to go that way?
You understand? Yeah. And you'll be like telling them the opportunities
they
you are letting
rebel,
slip
they
right
don't
now.
know. Yeah.
You live to regret them tomorrow.
That's so true.
You understand? Because
And it's
I'm-
the privilege.
It's
That's
a
the
privilege,
problem.
yeah.
Remember, we spoke about privilege
Oh yes.
earlier on
As
about
well.
how you
Understand?
know
And
parents.
it
The spoiling and stuff. Yeah.
and it takes one thing. For me, I met someone at my lowest. That someone motivated me, inspired me, pushed me. You understand? Until my eyes were wide open to like, okay, I actually thought I was down, but this was a learning process.
That's true.
You know, because if it comes easy, you won't appreciate it.
Yeah.
But if you slave for it, when you look back, you know, there's this guy, I think I shared the link, the YouTube link to you. I forgot this American guy. He's a motivational speaker.
Yeah. You did.
No, the
That-
guy was like saying,
I remember.
I still go back and eat where I used to eat when I was broke.
just to remind myself.
Just to remind myself. And also just to prepare myself that if ever I find
ever-
myself in that situation,
I can always come back.
I can always come back.
And I'll be
Nothing has
comfortable.
changed, you know? So a lot of people, we tend to, when you make a bit of paper, you now say, these places are not for me. I know this is not for me. But that's where you came from. You understand? And any day you can go back where you came from.
Right.
Life
And
is
you'll be accepted,
unpredictable.
eh?
You understand? So this guy was saying, I still need to experience those things before I became a millionaire.
Right.
Because, hey, who knew I'm going to be a millionaire?
Yeah.
And who knows if I'm going to go broke again? So if I go broke, I'm preparing myself that I'll fit in comfortably in that life because I never forgot about it
Right.
and said, no, now I'm a better person than I used to be.
And it allows you to take those necessary sacrifices. If
can
you've gone to that mansion, you
back
can go
again.
back to that small house to say, I'm restarting. I can let go of this. I'll
you get what
rebuild.
I mean?
Exactly.
There's
exactly.
this guy, I'm sure you know, this mining mogul, My Soul.
Yes.
I read his story that he lost everything at the age of 35. How he regained it back, he accepted his situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? He muted the sounds of the masses. He went back home to live with his mom and dad.
Right.
You understand? And he built himself from the ground up.
up again.
Now that guy is saying 2025, when 2025 ends, his target is to be employing 1,000 people.
Right.
You understand? So he said the biggest issue is if Slim was used to living this lavish life, even when the bag doesn't allow anymore, he's still forcing
He's trying to
because he's scared of what the masses will say.
Say, yeah.
But I don't want to lie. There's this simple example of a man and a woman with a donkey. At first, they are walking with the donkey side by side. People are laughing at them. That look, those two. They've got a donkey, but they are walking. They could just ride what?
The donkey.
The donkey. The next picture is like, oh, look at that guy. He's a fool. He's walking the donkey with the wife riding on the back. Why can't they just
get on
Both
the
of
donkey.
them get
Both
on
of
the
them.
donkey.
they got on it? The third slide is, these people are abusive. As big as they are,
Yeah,
they are
why
riding
they
that
on
So
the
there's
donkey.
always
donkey.
something
Yeah.
wrong.
You understand what I'm saying?
People always find
So
something
the whole
wrong in any
situation, what it was preaching was, no matter what you do,
Right.
good or bad, people will talk.
Exactly.
So if you live your life based on people talking or what people are going to say, then you need to check yourself and sit down and ask yourself, am I living my life or am I living the life people want me to live?
Right.
Because if people's opinions affect you to the extent that you force yourself to be in a situation you can't afford to be in, then whose life are you living?
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Whose life are you living? So if you just understand the fact that I have a vision, I have my dreams, I have my goals that I'm working towards. If my goals are telling me that, you know what, bro, you're driving a G-Wagon, but you need to go back to driving a VW Polo, you need to go back to driving a Nissan, you can sacrifice for that. Sell that G-Wagon, size down, 2-3 years down the line, you've got a
back
better
up
car
again.
than a G-Wagon. Man, you've got a Rolls, you've got a Maybach, you've got something bigger than what you had. But it's all about what are you willing to sacrifice for you to achieve your goals?
Right.
And are you that person that is the ability to quiet down the noise? You understand that I used to drive a G-Wagon, now he's broke. He's driving a Polo. But you know the reason why you're in a Polo. You understand? Only you knows what you want to achieve, where you want to get to. People don't know. Only people maybe that are close to you know why. They know the dream. They know the drive. They know what pushed you to make those sacrifices. So I guess, guys, it's with these visions and goals and you know what you want to achieve, there's a lot of sacrifices that you need to make. There's a lot of commitment and consistency that is needed. It's not going to happen overnight.
That's
100%.
And so you can ask even those YouTubers or those. I remember I was seeing
It
this.
doesn't happen overnight. bro.
Yeah, I was,
Don't we know
Push
it?
for it.
bro, I was watching this
push
other
for
guy.
it.
Now he's got about 14 million followers or subscribers on YouTube. But this American boy, when he started, the whole of that first year he started, I think the year ended with him having about 60 to 80
Yeah.
subscribers. But he never lost focus on his goal. He pushed and pushed. Now he's one of the most celebrated YouTubers in America with a following of 14 million people. Imagine if first year he had given up and said, 80 followers, 365
This is
days,
not for
12
me.
months. This is not for me.
That's
He wouldn't have realized his dreams, but this guy said, you know what? I'm going to quiet down the noise.
Right.
I'm going to hush the noise.
Yeah.
The noise I want to hear is voices in my head
Yeah.
telling me that, you know what?
I think
keep
Mike
going.
is actually sending a message to us, Jensen. we
He's
have
like,
to
"Guys,
keep going.
Keep going.
Just listen to the voices in your
Yeah.
head.
Let's keep
Right.
pushing. Let's keep pushing.
Yeah, look, it's
Yeah.
it's normal, it's natural. You come to me with your vision, but because I'm not you, I'll never see
You
the
will
way
never
you
see
see
it.
The passion.
Never.
Yeah.
I might talk down on it that my boy, how many people you have tried that? Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
You understand? And also that's when you start seeing that I don't need this kind of people in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Negativity.
Because if I'm a good friend, I'll say, hey, this is what you want to do. Bro, let's do more research on it.
Yeah.
On how best, we
you
can
can
do
go
it
about it.
better than everyone else who's been trying it.
That's true.
You understand what I mean? You need that people that ignites that passion in you.
Sadly,
You know what I mean? Even if you have doubts, like your flame is, it's like it's windy.
Oh, yeah.
You need those people that are like covering it for you and saying, you know what?
And
let it
use
burn, bruh.
and use that wind to actually
You know what I mean?
ignite the fire.
Let that flame ignite and let it shine bright. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like what you were saying,
yeah.
that sometimes we even forget or we lose focus in the fact that within the circle, there are already people who've got information,
Right.
you know what I mean, we're looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
May it be health, spiritual, financial,
That's so
you know,
true.
all those things within the circle.
Yeah.
That's
think-
what
I think Mike needs to join us for our next episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you available, Mike?
He will. He will. You will.
I think you will.
trust me, I'll talk. No, but it depends
No,
on the
but
days.
I think it's been a great session, and so in depth. Just the conversation we had now has challenged me in many ways, and I think there are some changes I need to implement.
I'm
and
going for the vision board, bro.
You're going for sure.
I'm
eh?
going for it.
It's
I
still
don't wanna-
January. We can do that.
Absolutely.
We can do that. 100%.
And also, like, just
Yeah.
create that accountability group
Exactly.
and see how it goes.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
need that.
For sure. So
You
I
need
think on that note, guys, we come to the end of this episode.
Cool.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in, So you got some parting words?
Yes, just let us know what you guys think. Always talk to us. We love reading your comments and always, discovering what your thoughts are on the things we discuss. So we love the engagement. So please keep it coming and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because we're trying to get 14 million. 14 million subscribers. So yeah.
I want to thank the followers that engage with us, especially on TikTok, and the people that have followed us on TikTok. It's like one of our very most vibrant platforms. TikTok is doing quite well for us. We would encourage people to follow us on Instagram as well.
And YouTube.
Obviously. And help us grow those numbers.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And Mike, we just want to appreciate your presence, man. Valuable contributions, and definitely this is not the last time we're going to call you up.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Any parting words from yourself?
No, I just said, hey guys, you made my afternoon. It was quite a scintillating conversation, and also, like you said, from the discussions you've heard, it opens up your eyes. Like what you're saying, like it's important to have these discussions, because there are those fires that are dying down.
Right.
But having discussions like this ignites them.
Ignites those
So
fires.
it also helps you grow as a person.
Yeah,
That's true.
You know what I mean? And
for sure.
it's highly informative. And yeah, thanks guys for having me this afternoon.
You're
Thanks,
welcome,
man.
man.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, so from us, the team, thank you so much.
Peace
Out.
out.
The motherland, the African man. Long as I'm alive, I'ma make a plan. Strong hosts to break, got long walks to take, got no votes to make, but don't bet, we pray. Hey, African man, yeah. The African male, Irish.